My name is Giorgio mangiavini. I selected the recipe Filipino chicken adobo from the country, the Philippines. Now, why did I select this country and recipe? I thought the Philippines would be an interesting choice, as I have often had friends who are from the Philippines have spoken to me about the Filipino food. I wanted to choose an easy food that was not too complex to prepare, and when I came across a recipe for adobo, I felt I had found something interesting. Even though I learned about the recipe before and I had heard about it, I immediately found I did not know a great deal about the culture around the recipe. The flag had intrigued me with its blue and red, with its white triangle and the big golden sun and stars which felt welcoming. The recipe is famous for a reason, and I wanted to finally understand how you make this dish authentically, and also learn about how important it is inside the Filipino cuisine. Chicken adobo is often regarded as an unofficial national food of the Philippines. It is often eaten frequently, and it is a comfort food that is suitable for a weeknight dinner, when cooking for a family, but also is as common in party, picnic, or even in a family gathering. A food for every and all occasions. The unique grammatical and referential aspect to Filipino culture is that it is a cooking method and not simply a recipe. The indigenous way of cooking is referred to as adobo by colonists because they thought that braising in vinegar was similar to their adobo. However, Filipinos used vinegar and salt to preserve meat way before the Europeans arrived and settled. The classic Filipino adobo constitutes soy sauce for saltiness, vinegar for sourness, a ton of garlic, some bay leaves, and black peppercorns to create a uniquely Filipino flavor profile that is different from the chili-based rubs or marinades of Spanish or Mexican adobos. Now let's dive into getting ready for the recipe. I essentially followed the recipe as is, except I made a small change with the ingredients to my preference. I used chicken and pork adobo recipe, however, it had more pork than chicken, so I reserved that part. I just used more chicken and less pork because I'm a little more fan of chicken. 2 pounds of chicken and 1 pound of pork. Aside from the straightforward adjustments of meat ratios, I adhered completely to the traditional method of preparing the recipe. I used a marinade, the spices, and followed the slow braising process as it was written. This adobo recipe offers some health advantages largely from its protein and aromatic ingredients, and significant health disadvantages, especially because of its extraordinarily high sodium level and add fats during the cooking method. Among the health advantages, the most significant health benefit of eating this dish is its very high protein content. Chicken and pork are both good sources of complete protein, which help build and repair tissue, keep muscles maintained, and build enzymes and hormones. Ingredients like garlic also contribute a worthwhile health benefit. Garlic, and more precisely raw garlic, compared to seasoned garlic or cooked garlic, contains allicins, which have been studied for their effects on the cardiovascular system and immune system. Vinegar has an acetic acid, which may help a person become more insulin sensitized and moderate blood sugar levels after they eat it. When simmering either of these two different types of meat, unsaturated fats are not adding during the process of cooking. Simmering is one of the more healthy cooking methods until fat or oils are added. When it comes to the health risks, the primary risk to health in this recipe is that it is simply too high in sodium. The combination of 2 teaspoons of salt and soy sauce, which in my case was actually an extra 1.5, because after tasting the sauce, I felt like it needed more taste. This can push the sodium in one serving easily above the American Heart Association's recommended limit of 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day. High sodium levels can lead to high blood pressure, heart disease, and even stroke. There are health risks associated with the choice of meat and in the cooking method. If fatty cuts of pork, such as butts or shoulders, are used, this dish can be very high in saturated fats, which in my case, thankfully, it wasn't. This is associated with higher levels of LDL, bad cholesterol. The final step of sauteing the meat in oil after it has been simmered also adds fats and calories to an otherwise healthy dish. Thank you for taking the time, listening to me, and watching me prepare adobo.